The royal city of Lumeria stood like a blue diamond under the twin suns of the planet Eris. Tall white towers reached high into the sky, and long silver bridges connected one palace dome to another. The people of Eris lived in peace behind strong energy walls and beautiful gardens. Inside the greatest tower lived the queen and her daughter, Princess Nara. The princess was young, clever, and full of questions. She loved to read old history tablets and stare into the night sky as ships passed in glittering trails. Still, she felt a quiet sadness sometimes. Every day felt the same. The court nobles argued over the smallest things, and no one ever challenged old ideas. She often whispered to herself that something needed to change. One clear afternoon, the palace guards noticed something unusual on their scanners. A small ship flew toward the city at high speed. It shook badly and left a trail of smoke across the sky. The guards sounded a warning and raised shields around the landing bay. Soldiers in silver armor moved into formation. Everyone expected trouble since unknown ships could bring spies or raiders. The ship landed roughly, metal scraping across the smooth platform. Steam hissed from damaged vents. When the door opened, a single human stepped out. His clothes were worn and his boots were old. He had dust on his face, yet his eyes were calm. He looked at the guards and slowly raised his hands to show he meant no harm. His name was Leo. Humans were very rare in this part of space. Stories said humans were unpredictable and full of strange ideas. Some aliens feared them, while others respected them. The guards did not know what to think, so they pointed their energy spears forward. Leo only smiled and nodded. He said he came in peace and simply wished to speak with someone in charge. His voice was clear and steady. The guards ordered him to follow, and he walked beside them without complaint. The palace was beautiful inside. Crystal lamps brightened wide halls, and ancient murals showed victories from long ago. Servants whispered when they saw Leo. Children peeked from behind doors. No one had ever seen a human with their own eyes here. Princess Nara stood at the far end of the main hall, her curious eyes wide. She had never felt her heart beat so fast. Something about Leo seemed different from everyone around her. He walked like a traveler who had seen much, yet he did not show fear. The queen entered the hall, dressed in a shining gown of deep blue metal threads. She walked with authority. Her voice echoed when she spoke. She asked at once, "Who is this man?" Her advisors whispered warnings about humans, saying they were troublemakers. Princess Nara watched Leo closely. She noticed how he did not shift nervously or bow too low. He simply placed one hand over his chest and lowered his head politely. He spoke clearly and explained that his ship had suffered damage and could not travel further. He asked for permission to repair it and offered to share knowledge in return. The queen did not like sudden surprises. She asked many questions. What brought him to this region? Why had his ship entered restricted airspace? Did he bring any hidden weapons? Leo answered each question with patience. He told them he came from a far region of space and had been studying ancient star maps. A strange energy signature led him close to Eris before his vessel malfunctioned. He had no hidden weapons and no crew. His journey was peaceful and guided by curiosity. The queen then turned to her daughter and asked what she thought. Princess Nara stepped forward, her voice steady but soft. She said the man spoke with honesty, and his presence did not feel dangerous. She suggested mercy, reminding the court that Eris was known for wisdom and fairness. The queen considered this, though her eyes remained sharp. At last she agreed that Leo could stay for a short time. He was to live in the guest quarters under guard while his ship was examined. The queen ordered that he take part in small tests to prove he was trustworthy. If he passed, he would be allowed to stay until repairs were finished. Leo accepted without argument. He seemed grateful. Later that day, Leo walked the palace garden under the watch of 2 guards. He observed colorful plants that glowed softly in the shade. He watched floating fish swim through streams of clear water. He admired the design of the city walls and asked respectful questions. Some guards found his curiosity strange, but others felt a quiet respect for his attention to detail. Princess Nara watched him from a balcony, smiling slightly. She had never seen anyone take such interest in their world. As the sun set, the queen called her advisors to a private chamber. Many spoke harshly. They warned that letting a human in the royal city was foolish. They feared hidden plans or stolen secrets. The queen listened, but said the tests would prove everything. If the man was dangerous, the truth would show. Still, she felt something strange in her heart. It was not fear. It was an old instinct telling her this man might change something important. Meanwhile, Leo sat in the guest room. He did not complain about the guards or the watchful eyes. He spent time studying the screens on the wall that displayed city history. He learned about Eris and its traditions. He read about the princess who protected the city when she was only a child. He smiled at her bravery. When he looked out the window, he saw her walking across the bridge that led to the Star Observatory. She walked alone. Her posture suggested both strength and loneliness. The next morning, Leo was led into a training hall. The Queen wanted to see how disciplined he was. The first test required him to lift small objects with assist gloves. Many aliens struggled with this technology because it required precise thinking. Leo learned quickly. He used calm breath and steady focus. Soon he guided floating blocks through narrow rings, surprising everyone. The second test challenged his strategic mind. He faced a holographic map of a damaged city and had to decide how to help civilians. He used simple paths and basic logic to save more lives than any student in the last 5 years. When Princess Nara heard the results, she visited the training hall quietly. She saw Leo checking on a young engineer who had dropped her tool. He helped her gather fallen parts, smiling kindly. Nara felt warmth in her chest. She wondered why no one in the palace treated others so gently. Later, the third test began. It was a simulated threat scenario. Leo had to protect a group of civilians using only shields and walls. Instead of fighting the simulated enemies head-on, he moved people through a safe tunnel he noticed near the map edge. He guided the crowd away from danger using calm voice commands. The teachers watching were stunned. Most students failed this test because they focused on battle points, not safety. Leo focused on life. By evening, news spread around the palace. Servants whispered that the human passed every trial. Some nobles felt jealous. Others felt confused. Princess Nara felt proud. She wanted to know more. She asked her mother for permission to speak with Leo. The queen hesitated but agreed, saying the meeting must happen in the main hall with guards present. When Nara entered, Leo stood straight and nodded politely. She thanked him for protecting the city in the simulation. She asked about his home planet. Leo described Earth as a place with many cultures, many mistakes, and many bright minds. He said humans often solve problems because they refuse to give up, even when everyone said failure was certain. The princess listened with excitement. She felt hope. The guards noticed their conversation lasted longer than expected. Still, they saw nothing wrong, so they did not interrupt. The queen watched quietly from a balcony above. She saw something indescribable in her daughter's eyes. Not fear, not rebellion, something like awe. As night fell, the palace lights dimmed. The city slept beneath shimmering shields. Leo returned to his room, his mind full of thoughts and new questions. He wondered why the princess seemed sad in her eyes despite her bright smile. He wondered why the court felt tense around him. He wondered what secrets the palace hid behind its perfect walls. Princess Nara looked at the stars through her telescope. Her heart beat fast. She felt as if destiny had shifted when the human ship fell from the sky. She whispered that tomorrow might bring new trials, maybe danger, maybe hope. She did not know what the queen would decide next, but she welcomed the unknown. In the quiet halls, the queen walked alone. She stopped at an old mural showing the first rulers of Eris, holding hands with an alien ally during a time of war. She wondered if history was repeating. She asked herself a simple question. What if this human brought change her world needed? The city slept peacefully, but the future moved toward them like a silent storm. No one could predict how many lives would change, because one human stepped onto an alien landing bay. The night was calm and the stars kept their secrets. Soon, everything would shift again. The morning sun rose over the silver towers of Lumeria, bathing the city in golden light. Birds with long wings glided peacefully above the gardens. The palace walls hummed softly with power as shields refreshed for another day. Inside, servants moved quickly, carrying trays of fruit and warm bread. Guards stood at every corner, holding spears with quiet discipline. It was a peaceful scene, yet something new lingered in the air. Whispers followed the same word. Human. Those who walked the halls spoke softly about Leo. Some were curious. Others were nervous. Princess Nara woke early. She sat by her tall window, tying her hair and watching the courtyard below. She saw Leo escorted by guards toward another test chamber. She pressed her hand against the window and wondered if he felt lonely. She had seen the calm way he faced challenges. She admired his gentle voice when speaking to others. Deep down, she also feared for what the court might try next. Humans were not trusted easily on Eris. The palace rules were old and strict. Leo walked quietly between two guards. He did not show fear. He observed details around him. He noticed how the guards moved in perfect rhythm, how the walls displayed shifting star patterns, and how every noble who passed stared at him with wide eyes. He understood why. He was different. Yet he did not let that crush his spirit. His goal was simple. He wanted to learn, to repair his ship, and to respect this place that had accepted him, even if only for a short time. The Queen entered the training hall with her advisors. Her gown shimmered beneath the bright lights. Her face showed calm authority. She nodded once to begin the next test. It involved cultural understanding. Leo was asked to read alien symbols and understand their meanings based on emotional cues. Many failed this test because symbols held deep cultural history. But Leo took his time. He asked questions politely. He observed patterns. He respected each symbol. Soon he answered correctly in a way that surprised even the historians. They whispered that no outsider had ever learned so fast. Princess Nara watched from behind an energy screen. She loved how he paused to think instead of rushing. She noticed how he bowed his head to show respect after each answer. She felt hope rise in her heart again. After the cultural test, Leo was taken to the technology chamber. Engineers placed a strange device before him. It contained wires, glowing circuits, and crystal cores. They asked him to fix a power flow problem without breaking any safety rules. Leo studied the design carefully. It looked different from Earth technology. But he noticed familiar logic. Energy moved through channels like water through pipes. He touched nothing at first. He traced the pattern of light that flickered weakly. Then he gently replaced one crystal, adjusted a wire, and smoothed a connection. The machine hummed to life, glowing smoothly. The engineers gasped. They had been trying to solve that flaw for months. One advisor pulled the Queen aside. He whispered that a human who could understand their technology so quickly might be dangerous. The Queen listened but did not react. She watched Leo work and noticed something important. He did not boast. He did not smile proudly. He looked relieved and grateful, as if solving the problem made him happy simply because it helped others. After the technology test, the guards allowed Leo a few minutes to rest. He sat beside a long fountain. The water sparkled like liquid light. He removed his gloves and splashed cool water onto his face. He felt tired. He had not slept well. Sleeping in a guarded room felt strange. Yet he did not complain. Instead, he watched the children playing near the fountain. They stared at him shyly. One child dropped a small glowing ball. Leo gently tossed it back to him. The boy laughed. A guard frowned but said nothing. That small moment eased the tension in the air. Princess Nara approached the fountain. She walked slowly so she would not startle him. Leo stood at once and bowed. She waved her hand gently, telling him he did not have to bow to her so quickly. She asked if the tests were difficult. Leo admitted they were challenging, but he enjoyed learning new things. That answer impressed her. Many nobles hated learning. She asked about his home again. He described green forests, bright seas, crowded cities, and creative minds. He spoke of how humans helped each other in times of disaster. He also explained their stubborn nature, how they refused to surrender when life became painful. Nara listened with shining eyes. Some nobles nearby listened too, but they pretended not to care. A small servant girl brought fruit juice for the princess. She placed the extra cup near Leo, her hands shaking with nervousness. When she tried to walk away, she stumbled. Leo reached out quickly and steadied her. He smiled calmly, and the girl ran away with red cheeks. Nara covered her mouth to hide a quiet laugh. She told Leo that kindness was rare in the palace. He raised an eyebrow, surprised. He assumed kindness was natural. The princess shook her head. Many in the palace respected rules more than hearts. The Queen called Nara back to her side. She watched the human closely, measuring his every move. She did not yet decide if she trusted him, but she could not ignore what she saw. Calm strength, respect, intelligence. It was unusual. Next came the social challenge. Leo was placed in a council room with 5 nobles. They asked complex questions about justice, trade, peace, and leadership. These nobles often used tricky words to trap newcomers, but Leo kept his answers simple. He believed fairness was not about power but about empathy. He said a leader should protect the smallest voice before the largest one. That idea startled the nobles. On Eris, leaders often favored strength first. Princess Nara felt her heartbeat faster. She whispered to herself that the human spoke with truth beyond age. When the challenge ended, Leo was taken to see his damaged ship. Engineers examined its structure. They admired human design. It was simple, strong, and adaptable. Leo helped them repair systems. Together they worked until the twin suns began to set. The engineers enjoyed talking with him. They found his ideas refreshing. While repairs continued, something strange happened near the outer shield. An alarm sounded. A wild creature from the nearby forest had wandered close, confused by energy beams. Guards rushed to stop it. The creature growled, cornered and afraid. Leo watched from a walkway. He saw the fear in its eyes. He shouted for the guards to move slowly. He approached the creature slowly, holding his hands open. He spoke softly, just as he would speak to frightened animals on Earth. He noticed a small thorn stuck in its leg. He gently removed it. The creature relaxed. It sniffed him, then walked back toward the forest peacefully. Everyone on the walkway watched in silence. Princess Nara stared with disbelief. The queen saw it too. Her advisors whispered again. This human gained trust not only from people but from nature. That was rare on Eris. Later that evening, during dinner in the Grand Hall, nobles invited Leo to sit at a separate table. They wanted to observe him. They offered him alien dishes. Some tasted sweet, others bitter. Leo thanked each server sincerely. This surprised them. Very few nobles ever thanked servants. Princess Nara watched from the royal table. She noticed the servants smiling. She understood something. Respect could travel faster than fear. During the meal, a noble challenged Leo loudly, asking if humans only used violence. Leo answered calmly. He said humans used many paths, including peace, invention, and negotiation. He said some humans made mistakes, but others tried to learn and repair them. The noble had no answer. The hall fell quiet for a moment. After dinner, the queen met privately with her daughter. She asked why Nara supported the human. Nara admitted she felt something honest in him. She said he made her world feel less heavy. The queen sighed. She reminded her that outsiders often brought trouble. Nara answered softly, "Sometimes trouble shows us what we need to fix." That night, Leo returned to his room. He looked out the window. The city lights sparkled like fireflies. He felt heavy with thought. He wondered if he passed enough tests. He wondered if he would ever earn true trust. Meanwhile, the queen stood on her balcony. She watched the stars. She thought about her daughter's words. She remembered old prophecies that spoke of change arriving from distant skies. She felt unsure yet curious. Princess Nara sat in her observatory. She looked through her telescope. She imagined Earth. She wondered if humans felt the same mix of pain and hope that Eris felt. She whispered that tomorrow would reveal something important. Far beyond the palace, in the shadow of the forest, something else watched the city. A small drone hovered, recording everything. It did not belong to Eris. Its red eye glowed faintly before vanishing into the trees. Threats slept quietly, waiting. But no one in the palace saw, for now peace held strong. The twin suns rose again above Lumeria, warming the shining towers and open courtyards. Light reflected off polished stone and glass, making the palace glow like a beautiful dream. Servants hurried to prepare breakfast, guards switched shifts, and engineers checked shield systems as they did every morning. At first glance, everything seemed peaceful, but behind calm smiles, something unseen moved quietly. The small drone that had watched the city last night returned to the forest, carrying secret recordings to a hidden enemy camp far beyond the outer hills. Leo woke early in his guest room. He stretched his arms and walked to the small balcony where fresh air blew over his face. He took a deep breath and admired the glowing gardens below. He still felt like a traveler far from home, unsure of his place. But as he watched gardeners laugh together while trimming plants, he felt a strange sense of belonging. Perhaps kindness was a language understood anywhere in the galaxy. 2 guards arrived at his door. They informed him that the queen requested his presence in the training arena. Leo nodded and followed them through long crystal hallways. They passed nobles who paused their whispers as he walked by. Some nobles observed him with distrust. Others watched with curiosity. Leo did not react. He kept his posture calm and respectful. In the training arena, Wide platforms shifted to form new shapes. Floating drones hovered with bright lights. Princess Nara stood beside the queen, her hands clasped politely in front of her. She gave Leo a small, encouraging smile. He felt his heart lift slightly at her kindness. The queen raised a hand and spoke clearly. Today's test would be a combat simulation. It was not meant to harm, but to measure reflex, logic, and restraint. Warrior instructors activated the simulation. Holographic projections shaped into tall, armored figures holding energy staffs. They marched forward with heavy steps. Many warriors of Eris tried to destroy these projections with force, but Leo stepped back and studied them. He dodged strikes and pushed objects into their path using automated platforms. He used the environment instead of pure strength. When one projection swung at him, he lowered himself and caused it to hit a pillar, making sparks flash. The crowd gasped. Princess Nara felt excitement grow in her chest. She saw how Leo avoided harming the simulations directly. He focused on disabling weapons, blocking traps, and protecting bystanders. It was rare. Warriors on Eris often judged bravery by striking first. Leo showed another form of courage. The queen observed him carefully. She noticed his breathing was steady, his eyes alert, and his hands controlled. He never acted out of anger. When the simulation ended, Leo bowed politely. The instructors whispered among themselves, impressed. The queen nodded once, acknowledging his performance. After the test, Leo was asked to meet with scholars in the library tower. The library was tall, filled with glowing books and data screens. The scholars questioned him about Earth history. They were surprised when Leo admitted that humans made many mistakes, but also learned quickly. They found his honesty refreshing. Many visitors spoke only of greatness. Leo spoke of growth. That difference earned respect. While Leo answered questions, Princess Nara walked to the engineering platform behind the palace. She wanted to check on the repairs to his ship. She saw engineers installing new wires and modifying the hull with stronger metal. The ship looked different now. It had a new shine. The head engineer explained that they added defensive upgrades so it could fly safely in this region. Nara smiled proudly. She wanted Leo to feel safe here, but peace would not last forever. Far beyond the shield, in the shadow of old trees, a small camp glowed with red lights. Tall figures in dark armor studied the drone recordings. They saw Leo speaking with nobles, passing tests and gaining trust. They also saw Princess Nara watching him with interest. The armored leader frowned. He whispered to his soldiers that a human forming bonds inside the palace could ruin their future plans. They wanted Eris for its powerful core crystals hidden under the royal city. They decided they must attack soon, and they must capture the human to learn how he advanced so fast. Back inside the palace, Leo finished his meeting in the library. He walked down the long stairs where Princess Nara waited for him. She asked if he enjoyed the scholars' questions. He chuckled softly and said they asked too many. She laughed gently. Her laughter echoed softly, like bells in the hallway. They walked side by side through a quiet corridor. Nara asked if he missed Earth. Leo paused before answering. He admitted he missed his home, but he also felt Earth struggled with many problems, and sometimes he needed space to think. She understood that feeling well. Many times she stared at the stars wishing for change. She asked him what humans dreamed about. Leo told her humans dreamed of reaching stars, helping each other, finding peace, and writing stories that would last longer than their lives. Nara placed her hand over her heart. She said she wished more people on Eris dreamed like that. As they spoke, servants entered the hall, carrying glowing lanterns. They bowed gently after seeing the princess. Leo returned their bows. The servants looked surprised but pleased. One servant whispered to another that no noble had ever bowed back before. Respect spread quietly, like light through a dark room. Later in the day, the queen called an important council meeting. Advisors gathered in a tall chamber with floating seats shaped like petals. They spoke about strange energy spikes detected in the forest. Some suggested it was nothing more than wild beasts. Others feared strangers. The queen listened, tapping her fingers against the armrest. Finally, she decided to send patrols to investigate. She also ordered stronger shields around the palace. Princess Nara nervously whispered that Leo should be kept safe. The queen raised a brow, noticing the concern in her daughter's voice. She said the human was a guest and would be protected like all guests. Nara lowered her eyes, relieved. In the evening, the city celebrated the Festival of Harmony. Soft music flowed through the streets. Lanterns drifted through the air like little stars. Leo was invited to watch from the balcony. Children danced with colorful ribbons. Vendors offered sweet fruitcakes. The celebration filled the city with bright energy. Princess Nara joined Leo on the balcony. She explained the meaning of the festival. It honored a time when different species learned to live together on Eris. Leo found the idea beautiful. He noticed how families smiled and exchanged gifts. For a moment, he felt completely welcome. Down below, soldiers prepared patrols near the forest. They walked quietly along shield borders. Suddenly, one soldier found broken branches on the ground. Another found footprints shaped differently than any native creature. A quiet fear grew in their hearts. They followed the trail deeper. Unknown eyes watched them from the shadows. Back on the balcony, Nara asked if Earth had festivals like this. Leo explained that Earth held many festivals, each celebrating history, season, or culture. He said humans loved to gather, share food, and dance. Nara smiled softly. She wished to see Earth one day. Leo said he would show her if life allowed. The words surprised both of them. Nara felt warmth in her cheeks. Leo looked away shyly. Suddenly, a messenger ran into the hall. He bowed before the queen and spoke urgently. Patrols had found signs of an unknown group near the shield. The queen stood sharply. She ordered more guards to the forest border. She also asked that Leo remain inside for safety. Leo offered to help, but the queen refused. She did not trust him enough to allow combat yet. But Princess Nara saw the worry in Leo's eyes. She whispered that danger near the shield could harm everyone. Leo nodded. He promised to stay inside, but his mind raced with thoughts. Late that night, when the festival ended and the palace grew quiet, Leo could not sleep. He stood by the window, staring at the forest. He felt something rising in the darkness, something heavy. Without warning, a bright flash pierced the shield barrier. Alarms screamed across the city. Guards sprinted through halls. Princess Nara rushed out of her room and nearly collided with Leo. Her eyes were wide with fear. The queen appeared moments later, soldiers surrounding her. She shouted orders to strengthen defenses. Explosions echoed near the outer walls. Smoke rose into the night sky. Enemy soldiers in dark armor rushed through the forest. They fired beams at city walls, trying to break through. Princess Nara grabbed Leo's hand without thinking. She pulled him toward a safe chamber. Leo stopped and shook his head. He said he would not hide if innocent people were in danger. Nara stared at him, torn between fear and admiration. She opened the chamber door and whispered for him to stay safe. But Leo stepped back, refusing. The grand hall of the palace was quiet. The queen of the Zahari Empire sat on her tall throne. Her golden crown glowed under the shining lights. She waited for reports about the city. Her guards stood by the doors in silence. The queen had ruled for many years. She was strong and smart. Many respected her, but many also feared her. It had been a busy morning. The royal council had argued about defense and politics. The queen listened with patience, but her voice ended all arguments. She commanded order. Now she waited to hear from the head guard. The head guard stepped forward. He bowed and spoke. He reported that Princess Mira had returned from the city, but she was not alone. There was a human man with her. The queen already knew. She had been told earlier, but she wanted to see the man with her own eyes. She wanted to judge him. She dismissed the head guard and asked 2 soldiers to bring the princess and the human to the throne room. Mira and Ryan waited outside the hall doors. Ryan stood tall. His heart was beating fast. He knew this moment was important. Mira stood next to him with calm confidence. She placed her hand on his arm for support. She told him not to worry. Ryan had faced many challenges already. He knew he could face this one too. The guards opened the large doors and guided them inside. The hall was massive. Red banners hung from the high ceiling. The floor was smooth and polished like a mirror. The queen sat at the far end. Her eyes were sharp and focused. Many advisors stood near her throne. They whispered to each other. They looked at Ryan with distrust. Some had seen humans only in books. Ryan and Mira walked forward slowly. They stopped a few meters away and bowed. The queen spoke loudly. Her voice echoed across the hall. She asked Mira why she had returned with a human. Some nobles gasped when she asked. Mira lifted her head and spoke clearly. She said Ryan saved her life in the city. She said he protected her when no one else did. She explained how he fought the attacking group and risked his own safety. She explained that he never asked for reward or respect. He simply did what was right. When Ryan listened, he felt uncomfortable. He did not like praise. He only acted on what he believed was right. The queen asked Ryan to step forward. She looked into his eyes. She wanted to see truth, courage, and honesty. She asked him why he helped the princess. Ryan paused for a moment. He spoke slowly. He said Mira was in danger. He could not walk away. He said that helping someone in need was important. He had seen many wrong things in the world. He decided he would never ignore an innocent person asking for help. The advisors whispered again. Some were impressed. Others doubted. The queen raised her hand and silence returned. She told Mira and Ryan that the Empire did not always trust humans. There were old stories of conflict. But she saw something rare. She saw a human who acted with honor. She saw a princess who trusted him. She said she did not want conflict in the palace. She asked them to remain calm and respectful. Ryan nodded politely. Mira thanked her mother. Later, Mira guided Ryan to the royal garden. The garden was calm and full of bright trees. Water flowed from a fountain. Birds flew above. They sat on a bench near some purple flowers. Mira placed her hand on her head and sighed. She told Ryan that there would be challenges. Some of the court would try to turn her mother against him. They feared change. They feared outsiders. Ryan understood. He had seen this back on Earth. People feared what they did not understand. He said he would face the challenges. He said he was not afraid of darkness. As they talked, a royal advisor named Kellen approached. He wore a shining robe. He had sharp eyes and a thin smile. He bowed politely, but his tone was cold. He said he wished to talk with Ryan alone. Mira did not want to leave, but Ryan nodded. She slowly walked away. Kellen folded his hands behind his back. He looked at Ryan closely. He said that humans did not belong in the royal palace. He said the court was not safe for outsiders. He said if Ryan stayed, there would be trouble. He asked Ryan to leave quietly for the safety of all. Ryan listened carefully. He replied calmly. He said he would not run away. He said he was not afraid of problems. He said if anyone wished to challenge him, they could face him openly. Kellen frowned slightly. He did not expect such confidence. He warned Ryan that the political world was not like the streets of the city. He then left silently. When Mira returned, she asked what Kellen said. Ryan only smiled and said it was nothing. Mira narrowed her eyes. She knew Ryan was hiding something, but she did not push him. She asked him to follow her. She took him to a large hall where many soldiers trained. She wanted Ryan to learn about Zahari fighting styles. She said that if problems came, he needed skills famous in their kingdom. Ryan agreed and began training. The Zahari style was fast and flowing. It used curved blades and strong footwork. Ryan learned quickly. The soldiers were surprised. He adapted faster than many of them. Within hours, he blocked attacks and delivered clean counterstrikes. His past experiences helped him. The instructor, a tall warrior named Daro, nodded with approval. He told Ryan that he had heart and focus. Mira smiled. She was proud. In the evening, they returned to the guest room where Ryan was staying. Mira placed tea on the table and sat across from him. She told Ryan about the Empire. She spoke of old wars. She spoke of peace. She spoke of fear toward humans caused by misunderstandings long ago. She said her mother wanted peace, but many nobles did not. Ryan listened quietly. He asked what the Empire would think now that she had declared him her husband. Mira blushed slightly. She said she spoke those words to protect him. The queen respected family bonds. It gave Ryan protection, but Mira also admitted she trusted him deeply. She said he proved himself. She did not regret her words. Ryan was touched by her faith. He promised he would stay by her side and help her bring peace between humans and Zahari. Later that night, Ryan walked alone through a quiet hallway. He wanted time to think. Suddenly he heard whispers around a corner. He moved closer and listened. Several nobles met in secret. They spoke about removing him. They feared his influence. They feared Mira would listen only to him. They planned to challenge him publicly to embarrass him. One noble suggested using a skilled warrior for a duel. The others agreed. They said if Rian lost, he would be forced to leave the palace. Ryan learned every detail. He stepped away quietly and returned to his room without being seen. The next morning, the queen gathered the court for a formal announcement. She wanted to speak about the bond between Mira and Ryan. She wanted to calm the nobles. But before she could begin, one noble stepped forward and challenged Ryan to a respectful duel. The hall filled with shocked voices. Mira's eyes widened with fear. Ryan stepped forward and accepted. The queen raised her eyebrow. She asked why he accepted so quickly. Ryan bowed and said he needed to prove his honor. The duel would happen in the arena outside the palace. Many gathered around. The noble selected a skilled Zahari fighter named Torin. Torin was famous. He had defeated many warriors. He stepped into the arena with 2 curved swords. Ryan borrowed 2 training blades from the instructor. The crowd waited. Mira bit her lip. She believed in Ryan, but she knew Torin was strong. The signal was given and the duel began. Torin charged fast. Ryan blocked the first strike. The sound of metal rang across the arena. They exchanged movement after movement. Torin attacked high and low. Ryan reacted with focus. He did not panic. He remembered his training from Darrow. He stepped aside and countered. The crowd gasped. The duel continued. Both fighters showed skill. Sweat dripped from their heads. Torin tried to overwhelm Ryan with speed. He pressed forward again and again. But Ryan refused to back down. He steadied his breathing. He watched Torin's footwork. He found a weakness. On the next attack, Ryan stepped around and tapped his blade against Torin's chest. It counted as victory. The arena went quiet. Then cheers erupted. Many clapped. The queen smiled slightly. Mira ran forward happily. The nobles who plotted now trembled. Their plan failed. Ryan had earned respect. The queen announced that the duel proved Rian's honor and skill. She declared that he was welcome in the palace. She ordered everyone to treat him with respect. She ended the gathering. The nobles left quietly with fear in their eyes. That night, Mira and Rian stood under the stars in the garden. She thanked him for fighting with such bravery. She said the Empire would never forget this moment. Ryan said he did not fight for glory. He fought for peace, trust, and his promise to her. Mira looked at him with warm eyes. She said she believed he was meant to be here. Rian looked up at the stars. He felt strange. He felt like this alien world was becoming home. He did not know what the future held, but he was ready to face it. He knew Part 5 would bring new trials, new choices, and a final challenge that would test everything he gained. The next sunrise brought quiet calm across the Zahari Palace. Light touched the golden walls and soft winds moved through the wide courtyards. Birds sang from trees in the royal garden. Ryan woke early. He washed his face and dressed in simple clothes that Mira had given him. Today felt important. Something heavy rested in his heart. Victory in the duel earned him respect, but not everyone accepted peace so easily. In the palace dining hall, Mira waited. When she saw him, she smiled. She asked if he slept well. Ryan nodded, but admitted his mind was full of thoughts. Mira understood. A person who carried honor never stayed relaxed even after triumph. Together they ate quietly. After breakfast, Mira guided Ryan to the queen. She wished to speak to him privately. The queen waited in her small council room. The room smelled of old parchment and soft incense. She looked at Ryan carefully. She said that the Empire had talked all night. His victory shocked the nobles. Many now respected him, but some still feared what he represented. She warned that fear could twist into dangerous choices. Ryan listened without fear. He said he was ready to face whatever came. Before she could reply, a royal guard rushed into the room. He bowed quickly and spoke loudly. An unknown fleet approached the capital sky. Big ships shaped like daggers broke through the clouds. They did not send peaceful messages. They blocked communication towers. Horns sounded across the palace. Soldiers ran to their positions. The queen stood up sharply. Her eyes burned with leadership. The Zahari Empire had old enemies beyond the stars. One of them had returned. The queen commanded everyone to move to the war chamber. The doors opened and guards led them deeper into the palace. Mira stayed close to Rian. She already guessed what this meant. War was approaching their home. Inside the war chamber, bright holographic maps floated above a round table. Commanders argued. Some wanted to send troops into the city. Others wanted to defend only the palace. The queen raised her hand. Silence returned. She spoke calmly. She said they must defend civilians first. They could not abandon their own people. She ordered shield towers to activate. She ordered all troops to prepare for battle. Rian stepped forward and asked how the enemy usually fought. A general explained. The enemy fleet was fast and used heavy ground troops once they landed. Their armor was thick. They believed strength gave them right to rule. Rian nodded. He thought quickly. He asked about weak points in their armor. The general replied that the joints were weaker. Rian offered advice. If defenders focused on those points, they could stop their advance. Some commanders disagreed. They did not want a human giving orders. But the queen reminded them that he fought with honor yesterday. She commanded them to listen. Her voice allowed no argument. Mira looked at Rian with pride. Outside, alarms echoed through the city. Large ships hovered above. Streams of enemy troops dropped onto rooftops using metal platforms. Zahari soldiers formed ranks in the streets. Blades flashed. Shots rang. Civilians fled into shelters. Rian stood with Mira near the outer gates. Soldiers handed him proper armor. It felt lighter than earth armor, but stronger. Mira drew her blade. Her eyes showed no fear. Together they ran to the gates where the first wave arrived. Enemy soldiers charged with heavy steps. Rian met them head-on. He blocked the first strike and countered to the joint just as the general described. The enemy dropped. Mira followed with sharp movements. Zahari soldiers cheered. Seeing their princess and the human side by side lifted their hearts. The enemy continued to push forward, but Rian fought like a firestorm. He moved between defenders. He called warnings, pointed at weak spots, and kept morale high. Each time an enemy fell, Zahari soldiers shouted with renewed hope. The battle spread through the city. Smoke rose from rooftops. Cries echoed from stone streets. Hours passed. Both sides grew tired. At one crossroads, the strongest enemy captain arrived. He wore thick armor decorated with black stripes. He carried a tall spear. Zahari soldiers feared him. He had defeated many in old wars. He challenged any warrior to face him. Rian stepped forward. Mira tried to stop him, but he shook his head gently. He had to show the heart of humanity. The captain attacked first. His spear struck hard. Rian barely blocked. The impact sent sparks flying. The crowd backed away. Mira watched with worry. The captain swung again. Rian dodged. He studied his opponent's movements. He noticed how the captain shifted weight before each strike. He saw a gap in the armor near the shoulder. The duel continued. Rian spun under the spear, slammed his blade against the weak spot, and forced the captain to stumble. The crowd gasped. The captain swung in anger. Rian stepped aside and struck the back of the knee joint. The captain fell. Rian pointed his blade at the captain's throat. The captain surrendered. The enemy soldiers saw their leader fall. Their confidence broke. Some dropped their weapons. Others ran back toward their ships. Zahari soldiers cheered loudly. Mira ran to Rian and hugged him tightly. Her heart pounded with relief. The queen arrived shortly after. She smiled with pride. She announced that victory belonged to both Zahari and humanity today. The enemy ships lifted away. The sky cleared. Citizens came out of shelters. They thanked the soldiers. They thanked Princess Mira, and then many of them turned toward Rian. They bowed in respect. Some even called his name proudly. For the first time, he felt welcome beyond any doubt. That afternoon, the queen held a gathering in the palace hall. Noble advisors stood stiffly. The queen raised her voice. She declared that Rian had become a symbol of peace. He saved many lives. He advised wisely. He fought beside them. She said the empire must end fear of humans. Better to build bridges than walls. The hall echoed with approval. Some nobles remained silent, but they did not dare oppose. Their doubts were defeated today. The queen looked toward Mira. She asked her daughter if she stood by this man. Mira answered without hesitation. She said she trusted Rian more than anything. She said his courage changed her heart and taught her the value of unity. The queen nodded slowly. She said the Empire would officially recognize the bond between Mira and Ryan. The hall cheered again. Ryan lowered his head, stunned by the honor. Mira smiled and squeezed his hand. The Queen then announced that she would work to open communication with Earth. She wanted peace in exchange of knowledge. Humans and Zahari would share skills, technology, and culture. The future looked brighter than ever. Days passed. Repairs began across the city. Workers rebuilt damaged towers. Markets reopened. Children played in the streets again. Soldiers walked proudly. The Empire healed. Ryan often helped workers rather than relax. He did not want to be treated like royalty. He believed service was more important than wealth. Citizens respected him even more. One evening, Ryan and Mira stood on a balcony above the shining city. Lights glowed across rooftops. Ships flew gently through the sky. Mira rested her head on his shoulder. She asked if he ever missed Earth. Ryan thought for a moment. He said Earth would always be in his memories, but here felt like home now. He felt purpose. He felt connection. He felt hope. Mira smiled. She said the Empire would need his wisdom for years to come. He promised to stand beside her no matter what challenges came. Together they looked across the city of Zahari. Peace would not last forever, but they were ready. The Queen joined them on the balcony. She stood quietly for a moment. She said she was proud of her daughter and proud of the human who changed many hearts. She said leadership was not only about power, it was also about compassion and trust. Ryan thanked her. He promised he would always protect the Empire that accepted him. Later that night, the royal garden glowed with soft lantern light. Musicians played calm melodies. Citizens danced. Food stalls filled the air with warm smells. Soldiers relaxed and laughed. Everyone celebrated unity. Ryan walked among them. Many greeted him with smiles. Children asked him to tell the story of the big battle. He knelt and spoke kindly. Mira watched him with gentle joy. When the celebration ended, Ryan looked at the stars. They stretched across space like a shining river. He took a deep breath. He remembered how he once felt lost in the city streets. Now he stood as a hero among aliens who became his family. Humanity had proven its heart. He had proven his. Princess Mira stood beside him. They held hands and listened to the quiet night. Above them, the stars continued to glow. The future was unwritten, but they would face it together. Honor, trust, and love guided their path. The Queen turned and whispered to herself. She said that the galaxy had changed today because of one human who refused to step back. Ryan closed his eyes and made a silent promise. He would honor this new life. He would defend those who believed in him, and whenever fear rose, he would show courage again. The Zahari Empire slept peacefully that night. A new chapter had begun. Unity was no longer a dream. It was real. Humans and Zahari could walk together under one sky, and in the quiet heart of the palace garden, Ryan and Mira smiled toward tomorrow. The story ended not with fear, but with hope. Across the stars, a new future waited. Humanity had proven itself, and this time no one asked who he was. The galaxy already knew.